Welcome back to the Azure AI Apps and Agents Developer Associate Exam Prep Series. In this video, we are covering a foundational topic that sits right at the heart of building generative AI applications with Microsoft Foundry. How to choose the right endpoint and SDK for your project. Before you write a single line of application code, you need to understand the options available to you. Microsoft Foundry gives you two endpoints and two different SDKs, each suited to different scenarios. You also need to understand your authentication options and the two chat APIs you can use to talk to models. By the end of this video, you will know exactly how each of those pieces fits together and, more importantly, when to use which one. Let us start with the two endpoints. Every Microsoft Foundry project exposes two distinct endpoints, and you can find both of them on the project overview page in the Foundry portal. The first is the project endpoint. It follows the format HTTPS, then the resource name, .services.ai.azure.com, followed by API/projects/ and the project name. This is the endpoint you use when working with the Foundry SDK. It gives you access to Foundry native capabilities like agents, evaluations, tracing, and project metadata. The second is the Azure OpenAI endpoint. Its format is HTTPS, then the resource name, .openai.azure.com/OpenAI/v1. This is the endpoint you use with the OpenAI SDK, and it is optimized for model inference workloads where you want maximum compatibility with the broader OpenAI API ecosystem. The choice of endpoint and the choice of SDK go hand in hand, and that is exactly what we will look at next. Let us look at the Foundry SDK first. The library you install is called azure-ai-projects, and for Python you install it from py with pip install azure-ai-projects azure-identity OpenAI. And yes, you do need the OpenAI package even when using the Foundry SDK, because the chat client functionality inside it is built on top of the OpenAI SDK. The library is available in three languages: Python via PyPI, .NET via NuGet, and JavaScript via NPM. Code examples here use Python, which is the most common in exam scenarios, but the same concepts carry across all three. To connect to your Foundry project, you create an AIProjectClient object. You pass in two things: your credential, which is a default Azure credential from the Azure Identity package, and your project endpoint URL. Default Azure credential handles authentication automatically. If you are running locally, you just need to be signed into Azure via the CLI using AZ login before you run your code. The AI project client is your entry point to Foundry native operations, the things the OpenAI SDK simply cannot do on its own. Through it, you can retrieve resource connections, access project configuration and metadata, enable tracing for observability, manage datasets and indexes, work with the Foundry agent service to build and manage AI agents, and run cloud evaluations to test and validate AI responses. Now, here is an important detail to remember. The AI project client is not itself the chat client. When you are ready to actually talk to a model, you call a method on it called get_OpenAI_client, passing in an API version. That returns an OpenAI compatible client object you then use to submit prompts and receive responses. The pattern is: use the project client for Foundry features, then hand off to the OpenAI client for the actual model interactions. Now for the OpenAI SDK. Installation is pip install OpenAI and optionally Azure-identity if you are using Microsoft Entra ID authentication. The SDK is the official OpenAI client library, and it works with OpenAI hosted models Azure OpenAI deployments, and Foundry models using exactly the same patterns, which is one of its biggest strengths. There are three ways to authenticate when using the OpenAI SDK with the Azure OpenAI endpoint. The recommended approach for production is Microsoft Entra ID authentication. You use a token provider built from default Azure credential and pass that in as the API key parameter when creating the OpenAI client. This is the most secure option because there are no static credentials to leak or rotate. API key authentication is the second option. You pull the key from an environment variable and pass it directly as API underscore key. This is simpler but requires you to manage the key carefully, store it in Azure Key Vault, and never embed it directly in source code. The third option is environment variables. If you set OpenAI base URL and OpenAI API key before running your code, the OpenAI client reads them automatically without you needing to pass anything explicitly. This is very convenient for local development and testing. One thing worth being clear on is the difference between two client object types available in the OpenAI SDK: the OpenAI client and the Azure OpenAI client. For most workloads, the OpenAI client is what you use. You pass in the Azure OpenAI endpoint URL as the base URL and your authentication credential as API key. This is the recommended approach for the Azure OpenAI V1 endpoint, and it supports both the responses API and ChatCompletions, plus Foundry direct models from the catalog. The Azure OpenAI client is a separate option for situations where you specifically need to target a particular version of the Azure OpenAI API. To create it, you must explicitly provide both the Azure endpoint and the API version parameters. Notice that the endpoint format here does not include the /OpenAI/v1 path. It stops at the resource name .openai.azure.com. This client is best suited to version-locked enterprise deployments where you need predictable API behavior across a specific API release. Now for the decision that ties everything together. When should you use the Foundry SDK versus the OpenAI SDK? Reach for the Foundry SDK when your application needs Foundry specific capabilities. That means building or managing AI agents using the Foundry agent service, implementing tool invocation and approval workflows, running cloud evaluations to test and validate your AI responses, enabling tracing and observability, accessing Foundry direct models from the model catalog, or working with project metadata, connections, and governance. Microsoft specifically recommends the Foundry SDK for applications that involve agents, evaluations, or those Foundry native features. Go with the OpenAI SDK when what you need is maximum compatibility with the OpenAI API. This is the right choice when you want existing OpenAI code to work with minimal changes. When portability between OpenAI and Azure OpenAI deployments matters, or when your workload is purely model inference, chat completions, responses, or image generation without needing any Foundry specific features. And here is something important to know for the exam. You are not forced to pick just one. You can use both SDKs together in the same application. A common pattern is to use the Foundry SDK and its AI project client for project level features like agents and evaluations. Then call Get OpenAI client on it to hand off to an OpenAI compatible client for the actual model inference. Both approaches work with your Foundry project, and combining them gives you the best of both worlds. Let us pull authentication out and give it its own focus, because understanding the options clearly matters for the exam. Microsoft Entra ID authentication is the recommended approach for production applications. It uses default Azure credential from the Azure Identity package, running your application in the context of a specific managed identity rather than a static secret. Because there is no static credential to rotate, leak, or accidentally commit to a repository, it is significantly more secure. This method works for both the Foundry SDK and the OpenAI SDK. Locally, you authenticate with AZ login. In an Azure hosted environment, you configure a managed identity instead. API key authentication is simpler and perfectly fine for development and testing. You pass the key via the API key parameter or the OpenAI API key environment variable. The critical rule: never hard code an API key directly into your source code. In production, store it in Azure Key Vault and reference it programmatically. Environment variables are convenient, particularly for local development. If you set OpenAI base URL and OpenAI API key before running your code, the OpenAI client picks them up automatically with no extra configuration required. The same security rules apply. Never commit environment variable files containing secrets to source control. The last piece is the chat API. Once you have your client object, whether you got it from the Foundry SDK or created it directly with the OpenAI SDK, you need to call one of two APIs to interact with the model. The first is the ChatCompletions API. This is the well-established option that has been around since the early days of the OpenAI API. You call client.chat.completions.create and pass it a messages array where each item has a role, system, user, or assistant, and content. The key strength here is compatibility. It works across many different generative AI models and platforms. If you have existing code using chat completions, it will work with minimal changes. The second is the responses API. This is the newer of the two, and Microsoft recommends it for most new development projects. It offers more structured and flexible response handling for complex interactions. If you are starting a brand new project without existing code constraints, the responses API is the forward-looking choice. One thing worth noting: both APIs are supported through the Foundry SDK and the OpenAI SDK. The chat API you choose is entirely independent of the SDK you choose. You can use either API with either SDK. And that covers everything you need to know about choosing an endpoint and SDK in Microsoft Foundry. If this video was helpful, hit like and make sure you are subscribed. The next video in the series will be up soon. I will see you there.